Hey there, this is Mike with my weekly blog and vlog. This time I'm talking about the horse chasing the moon. This is the last piece that I want to talk about from my little booklet, The Moon's Tunes. And I had this fantasy of a horse becoming moon sick, watching the moon, watching the full moon, and completely going crazy. So I pictured this horse breaking out of the stables and running through the fields, charging through all the gardens, through the hedges, across the fences, only to be found 3 days later underneath a tree, completely exhausted and in need of a veterinary. So this is just a wild fantasy, probably based on two things. First of all, a play that I once saw by Peter Sheffer. My sister was in this, actually. It was about a boy who had a very special relationship with a horse. And the other thing, of course, was the famous children's television series, Black Beauty. I didn't like the series that much, but I loved the music, and it always stayed in my mind. It was something like great music, wonderful tune. So I'm going to play it for you first. Godsamme. So let me just briefly explain a couple of things. Of course, the galloping of the horse is in there. I chose that little figure to signify the galloping horse. And there's another thing, it modulates often. It goes to different keys. And for me, that means a horse just randomly charging through fields, not knowing where it's going, but just blindly, sort of chasing that moon. Hence all the modulations. And then there's the fact that I left out the bass register all through the first part. And only at the ending it comes in. Then we really play basses. And there's a funny thing about leaving one register untouched in your music, because the listener will feel it and will start feeling a need for those bass notes to come. And it creates sort of a little kind of a tension all through the piece, because we're just waiting for those funky bass notes to come in. So that's why I left them out. I used the middle register, use the upper part, but I leave all the basses out in the first part. So that's 3 of the components, the galloping, the modulations, and leaving out 1 register in the first part of the composition. Now, you will probably know how to do a lot more interesting things with these ideas, so go ahead and use them. This was Horse Chasing the Moon. It's in my album, The Moon's Tunes, available on mikebaudet.nl. Don't practice too hard or I'll be chasing the moon.